Hello lads and ladies and welcome to my Pokemon FireRed Nuzlocke, but with a twist. We're going to be playing this with anime rules. Hey, this intro is going to be really long by the way, so if you just want to skip to the main part, go to the time on screen now, and also I did put all the rules in the description if you just want to read them there. First, I'm just going to give a brief description of what a Nuzlocke is for anyone that's not familiar. A Nuzlocke is a variation of any Pokemon game in which you play with these specific rules. Number 1, you can only catch the first Pokemon you see on each route. Number 2, you must nickname all your Pokemon. And number 3, a rule so important it should have been number 1, when a Pokemon faints, that is it. That is its one and only life, and it must be released or put into the box permanently. Those are the primary rules that almost all Nuzlockes will use, but there are additional ones to make it even more challenging. Or easier, for example the species clause, allowing you to re-roll an encounter if the Pokemon you found is one you already caught before. So if you catch a Pidgey on one route, and then go to another route and see a Pidgey as your first encounter, you can just move on until you find something unique on that route. This is something that I'll be using for this run. Another thing I'm using is not over leveling past the gym leader's ace Pokemon. So for example, Brocks Onyx is level 14, so until we beat Brock, we can't get any Pokemon past level 14. There's also a no using items in battle rule that's popular in hardcore Nuzlockes, most commonly seen on channels like Flygon HD or Pokemon Challenges to make the run even more difficult. And as to whether I'm going to be using that, So, the Pokemon anime, it's probably a part of everyone's childhood. Even for me, someone that used to play Yu-Gi-Oh! Because I'm a cool kid, I still loved Pokemon. Pokemon Advanced, to be exact, that was my jam. The anime had it all, from the intense battles to the dub's love of donuts. The thing we're going to be taking from the anime and implementing into our run is how gym fights are fought. See, Ash never curb stomped some loser gym leader by unleashing his full team. No, he kept it civil. Let's have a fair fight until I pull out some bullshit power of friendship. That's the main challenge with this run. Once I get to a gym, I can only bring in however many Pokemon that gym has. So for Brock and Misty, it's only going to be 2. Through Lieutenant Surge, 3. And as we go on, we'll be able to use more and more of our team. But until the champion fight, we're technically not going to have a full team. And yes, it's not just gym leaders this rule applies to. Every trainer in the game, I'm going to be following this rule. Well, for the most part, but we'll get into that later. I'll only be depositing my team into the PC for every gym fight, so I truly only have 3 Pokemon. I won't be doing that for random trainers, just because I'd rather not have this Nuzlocke take 20 years longer to complete. And the main fun of this was trying to make the gyms more epic, something I failed miserably at. Okay, that's the intro out of the way, now let's bring back all those dorks that skipped it. Okay, let us beginning. The first job is picking our starter, and I have an incredibly sophisticated system on how to do that. Right, let's go. That's a 5, so that's... Squirtle is ours, and we name him Finding Nemo Turtle, and after sending Shlong's Bulbasaur back to the ground from whence it came, we start on Route 1 and catch the first friend of the journey. Boy howdy is it, one I am going to keep and cherish forever. We name him KFC Original, and on Route 2 we catch a Caterpie named Katie Pie, and on Route 22 a Rattata named after, of course, the most famous rat in film. And much to my disappointment, as I was certain we could only get Pikachu in Viridian Forest now, we get a Riddle named Drilling Your Mom, in preparation for the future. Probably the most generic Fire Red team we could actually get, but it could be worse. We could almost wipe to Shlong on Route 22, and this is where I'll be transparent. I didn't do a good job sticking to the anime rule at the start. In terms of trainer and rival fights for the first part of the game, I didn't really do it because I didn't really think I was going to implement it. It was a little bit later on I decided to do it for every single trainer in the game. Unfortunately for Shlong though, he had to deal with the full force of my weak as hell team. The main reason I made this challenge is coming up now. The first gym leader, Brock, and his rock hard Pokemon. So like the noble samurai, we deposit Drilling Your Mom, Marcelli and KFC OG in the box to go in on even terms. I do my best to intimidate Brock with cringe. Alright FN Turtle, it's time to show them what you can do, yeah! And then sweep through his entire team with Bubble. That's badge number 1, and the reunion of all our team. And after Marcelli almost dies to a 4-hit Fury attack from a Spearow. Okay, don't get a lot. No, that's enough. You don't want any more. No more. He does die to this. Well, this right here is my Achilles kryptonite. It's not poor decision making, it's not my overconfidence, it's speed up. I will never be able to forgive learning this forbidden ability from other PokeTubers, cause my discipline and patience are at the bottom of the Mariana Trench, so I always think it's a good idea to speed up a fight that is just going to end the same way regardless. Turns out I'm kind of an idiot, and my idiocy has led to a dead rat. Rest in peace, Marcelli. The good news is, a new fish named Margaret, an angry pigeon named Feroga, and in Mount Moon, easily the MVP for a good portion of this run, Rockefeller, the Geodude, have joined the team. But more impressive than all of that, perhaps more impressive than the creation of the universe, the discovery of fire, and self-checkout combined, is this fight. You see, this is Magnemite, and well, take a look at my team. Do you see a problem? None of them can really handle electric types except Rockefeller, whose only attacking move is Tackle, and Rock Throw, but neither are very effective against Steel. So I come up with this. So you actually have... Oh my god! It's happening! I am the first person in the history of Pokemon that is going to click Mud Sports deliberately! Oh my... I genuinely don't think this has ever happened before. We need to put this in the history books. This is actually insane. I mean, I did waste a moment by using Confusion, which is also not very effective. But look at it this way. We got to use Mudsport, and if you want a true demonstration of how good Rockefeller is, look at him just destroy Shalong's bird, and the rest of his team was pretty easy as well, so let's move on. What wasn't easy was a random Team Rocket grunt. I led with Margaret even though he only had 2 Pokemon, so I basically had to fight both his Pokemon with just one of mine. Thankfully though, Katie Pie had Poison Powder, and the AI had Brain Damage. Another win despite poor planning. Well, after that, we catch an Oddish on Route 5 named Grashley, who, despite joining the team, is pretty sucky suck. What doesn't sucky suck though is Misty, the water gym leader, who is going to be a bit more difficult, given Grashley probably... Oh wait, no, never mind. Margaret is a queen and basically one-shots both the starfish. That is badge number 2. And while on Route 6, I decided to fight a random bug trainer to get some more levels on Rockefeller. Oh, I wonder who could take on a Beautifly. And this is where I discovered the biggest issue with this challenge. Statuses, mainly confusion, in correlation with only being able to use one Pokemon. See, normally you get confused, you hit yourself, you swear about how unfair and biased the game is with the coin toss, and then you switch out, like a sensible person. Well, here, I can't do that, and well, let's have a look at what happens. Thank you. Jesus, I had to break through confusion, break through paralysis, and then hit a move that's 75% accurate. Yeah, I've discovered the issue. Well, hopefully that won't be an issue again in the future. And moving on to the next gym, we first just need to get cut from... Oh, I did not realise you were here! Buongiorno, Schlong! Yeah, I forgot Schlong was here, but aside from some really bad luck from both Margaret and Rockefeller... God damn it, Rockefeller! You shouldn't be able to... God damn it, Rockefeller! I do not tolerate this level of fucking failure! The outcome was as expected. A Schlong that wasn't hard, a child rubbing a captain, and a dead Raticade. But next we have the electric gym. We go in, 3 vs 3, and Rockefeller cleans the floor. Believe me, I'm not being lazy here, there's just not much to commentate over what happens in these first 3 gyms. They're all incredibly easy. It's just click one move simulator. As a reward, Rockefeller is granted 2 more arms and legs. We catch a Voltorb we named Dr. Ball on Route 10, replacing Katie Pie. On Route 8, we catch a Growlithe. Perfect. No! On Route 7, we catch a Growlithe and name him Arcanine, and thankfully there's no real reason to keep him from evolving, so we can get the benefits of his amazing name immediately. Before that though, Schlong does fight us in Ghost Tower, and it wasn't really challenging, I just thought this bit was really funny. Didn't even get a chance. No. Not your best play, Schlong, I'm not gonna lie. Nothing left to do now but the grass gym, and with Arcanine, it's just a case of clicking Ember. I really did think some of these fights would be more challenging and dramatic, but to be honest, this game really does suck with coverage moves. If you have a super effective move, that's it, just a cakewalk. I guess if Victory Bell had hit the stun spore at the spot, maybe it would have changed it a bit, but A, he didn't, and B, it was still going to be pretty easy regardless. That's badge number 4. Then, Christ, a lot of stuff does happen. First, Dr. Wall gets his medical license and evolves, and we catch a Snorlax named Snormax. Also, you may be looking at this team and noticing a turtle-shaped hole in it. Yes, even though he's our starter and a pretty good Pokemon, Margaret is just far better than FN Turtle. I'm sorry, but it just be like that. This Dotrio was very mad at my decision and gave me a pretty good fight. It hits a Tri-Attack and gets the burn as we miss Rock Slide. Then the Dotrio uses Pursuit as we hit a Rock Slide, and now it comes down to, if we hit this 90% accurate move, Rockefeller lives. If we miss, he dies. And hit this next Rock Slide, or you're in trouble. Oh, I might actually lose Rockefeller if he misses here. Don't miss, Rockefeller. That's why we need a Dugtrio. Dugtrio takes no shit. In the Safari Zone, we catch a Nidoran named Nidoremi. Then on the bike path, I fight a trainer that I thought had more Pokemon than he did, which was a mistake. And then mistake 2 was for some reason switching to Arcanine as my second pick. Primeape does a bit of damage before going down, as does the Mochoke. Then the Mochoke uses Revenge, which is easily enough to kill Arcanine. That was painful. What's even worse is now Grashly is almost guaranteed to die, because we can't switch to anyone else. By some miracle though, she hits Sleep Powder and finishes the Mochoke with Absorb. Rest in peace, Arcanine. You had an amazing name. Moving on, I add Nidoremi to the team. Also, it instantly condemned him to death by fighting a Thero for some reason. Well, that might have been dumb. Why did I do that? Why the hell did I do that? I just don't get 5. And don't get a crit. Don't get a crit. Don't get 5. Don't get a crit. Okay. Then I realised there's no point in delaying his final form, so we get Nidoremi to King Remy, catch a Doduo named Ed, and Eddie, and put them in place of KFCOG, who is going to be retiring to the box. Now it's time for Koga, definitely the hardest fight in the run so far. He leads Coughing and I lead Margaret, who immediately almost KOs the Coughing as it hits Smokescreen. Then Koga wastes one of his Hyper Potions. Completely pointless because we just crit on the next turn, and then Muck comes out. But he has the same fate, completely bypassing his Acid Defense armor with another crit. The only difference was Rockefeller did it this time. The next Coughing actually survives a Rock Slide and hits a Toxic, putting Rockefeller on a timer. That lasts all of 2 seconds with a Pechaberry. One more Rock Slide and we're good. Finally is Weezing, who alongside hitting Smokescreen also has decent bulk, so we just switched to Nidoremi, who walls it entirely. A few serves later, and that's all she wrote. Yeah, when I said this was the most difficult fight so far, I mainly meant in terms of gym fights, because to be fair, we did have to use more than one Pokemon. The next gym though, well, it's annoying, but not in the way you're thinking of though. Before that though, we clear out Silphclo and Schlong again. This time, his Alakazam gives us a bit of a scare, but it's fine, and the rest of his team is more or less swept by Margaret, and something very similar happens to Giovanni. As thanks for saving the day, the president gives us a Master Ball, a ball to rule all balls. And now, Sabrina. I genuinely am so mad at myself for the way I handled this fight in regards to healing items. So I made the rule that I can use the same amount of healing items as my opponent to keep it fair. So for most gym leaders that's 1 heal, or in this case 2. And honestly, and I can't reiterate this enough, I'm really mad at myself for doing that. Sabrina leads Kadabra, and I lead Dr. Ball, because I'm dumb. So we switch to Snormax, who I've taught Shadow Ball, and because Ghost is all physical in this game, it hits like a truck that's on fire. So after wasting time with a Carmine, Kadabra is one-shot. Mr. Mime comes out next, who should be easy, but he uses Psybeam. That confuses, and of course, Snormax is self-destructive. So I switch to Margaret as Mr. Mime goes for a Carmine, then after switching back to Snormax, he goes for another Carmine, and then a Barrier, meaning Shadow Ball is no longer a one-shot, allowing him to get a Baton Pass of all things, the Venomoth, who of course hits a Supersonic and Snormax hits himself. Damn it, Snormax! As again, he is very self-destructive. At this point, I genuinely think this thing could one-shot my entire team, so I switched Dr. Ball in basically to die, but I mean, that's not good. Dr. Ball, hold on! That did nothing! What? It has a +2 on its special Okay. I guess Venomoth's special attack is garbage. But I still want Snormax in for the Alakazam, so I switch back to him and use Rest on the first turn. And then on the first sleep turn, Venomoth uses Supersonic. And after waking up, Snormax once again chooses to be self-destructive. Thanks for that. So I switch to Dr. Ball, then back, then heal. Something it's third time saying it, really regret doing, because it turned what was a really interesting fight into something considerably easier. I absolutely had the ability to play around this without using heals, but I just stuck to this rule that I made that I really shouldn't have made in the first place. I guess the only thing I can really say is I'm sorry for doing this, but if it makes you feel any better, I don't use heals for the entirety of this run throughout, and I'm not going to be using them in any of my future playthroughs. So yeah, no heals for the Elite Four or anything like that, so I guess all we can do is carry on. After the healing, we hit a Body Slam which leaves Venomoth in the red, proccing a heal from Sabrina. After another Body Slam, puts her back in the red, one more Psybeam, and a Body Slam later, the Venomoth finally goes down. Probably the most difficult fight that's ever been. And the prelude to my problems, Mr. Mime returns and goes down to one Shadow Ball as it doesn't have the barrier defense anymore. We heal for the second time, again 2 heals, same as Sabrina has. And after taking 2 Psychics with thankfully neither critting, we get badge number 6 with a single Shadow Ball. Now it's time to head over to Cinnabar Island, and along the way we use our Master Ball to catch a tentacle we named Squid Boy, and I also decide to kill the Ice Turkey in Seafoam Caves just because I was really bored, and I actually also killed a Spicy Burb in the power plant just for the simple reason I want to demonstrate something about this Pokemon. I bet you're thinking, oh Gyarados, that seems like a stupid choice for a Zapdos. Well, my friends, let's see. Its first move, Detect. Its second move, Drill Peck. Its third move, Agility. And there's its fourth move, Thunder Wave. Back to the Blaine fight, it's just a case of continuously digging graves for all his Pokemon until Arcanine comes out and actually hits a pretty hard Fire Blast, all things considered. But we still have Rockefeller, who also has garbage special defense, so Margaret comes out and finishes the Arcanine off. That's badge number 7. And after drowning the Fire Duck on one island, it's just a straight shot to Giovanni. And aside from leading Ed, Ed and Eddie by mistake, Margaret just keeps hitting surfs after surfs and sweeps his team. And that is badge number 8. So it's time for the Elite Four. Well, after one more fight with Schlong. Oh, Schlong! How completely unexpected! And by unexpected, I mean completely spected. That goes the way the others do. So yeah, moving on. I just want to say, as I'm writing the script right now, I'm listening to the Pokemon Advanced Battle theme. I just wanted to add that in. Anyway, time for the Elite Four. Ice, Fighting, Ghost, and Dragon. Those are the 4 types we gotta deal with. There are a few problematic Pokemon I'm not looking forward to, and Agatha is bad. But I have my team, and yes, I'm bringing an Electrode and a Graveler to the Elite Four. Do not at Elite Four. And yes, I am bringing an Electrode and a Graveler to the Elite Four. Do not at me about that. Not much to do now, but say, let's begin. Lorelei is first, and her ice types pretty much mean we're limited to 3 Pokemon unless we want to throw someone off to the wolves, or seals. Thankfully, most of her team is also water, so Dr. Ball MD is able to one-shot the Dugong, Cloyster, and Slowbro. The Lapras is a bit more scary, because I'm pretty sure it won't go down to 1 Thunderbolt, so I switched to Snorlax, who aside from being bulk incarnate, has Thick Fat to cut the damage of Ice move, and I taught him Brick Break for a super effective move. But wait, I hear you ask, Lapras is renowned for being a wanker who uses Confuse Ray. Well, after spending a lot of time with the item finder in the Berry Forest, I was able to get a Person Berry, which cures confusion 1 time. But that was actually a waste of time because the AI just uses my strategy and goes for the attack. Ice Beam does very little and Brick Break does a lot. Obviously we could have been frozen here, but thankfully we are not that unlucky. That's Lorelei's ace down. Finally, Jinx, who hits a lovely kiss and an attract. Well, no worries, Margaret wars this thing and is a lovely lady, meaning attract won't work. Very little from Ice Punch and... Oh, you are kidding! The freeze! Bro! Yeah, that's bad. That just turned an easy win into a very scary situation. 2 of the 3 Pokemon I have that aren't weak to ice are essentially out of commission. Snorlax can take a lot of abuse, but it's always slower, so always at risk of being put to sleep or hit by Attract. My best bet is to stay in with Margaret and hope she unfreezes, but she gets punched into range where a crit will kill her, so I need another plan because Margaret is way too important for what comes later. I decide to try my luck with Snorlax and just hope he wakes up soon enough. After getting hit a few times, he also goes into crit range. Thankfully though, he wakes up with no time to spare, and 1 Body Slam later, that's the first Elite Four member down. Next up is the man we don't talk about, and he could be an issue if we didn't have a dragon dancing Margaret, and if he paid for his Onyx's eye surgery. Yeah, Margaret clean sweeps everything, except the Marchamp that actually does survive a +2 earthquake from a Gyarados, so I gotta give it props to that, but then immediately take those props back because it chooses to use Scary Phase as its final move. It should also go without saying that even if Onyx did hit those rock tombs, it wouldn't have done anything to change the outcome. There's the 2 Elite Four members down, and man, I really just gotta ask someone why Bruno sucks so much. FBI, open up! Anyway, next is Agatha, who uses spooky ghost types, and even spookier status conditions. The first Gengar, while not being able to hit Snorlax and Eden and Eddie, has Toxic, Confuse Ray, and Double Team. Honestly, the best tactic I had was just throw in Snorlax with a Person Berry and hope for the best. I have rest to heal up whenever I needed to, so we should win the war of attrition here. We click Shadow Ball and immediately Gengar uses Double Team, and we miss. Then Gengar uses another Double Team. Okay, we're going to be in the long haul now. Come on, just hit it, please hit it. Oh, thank God. Never mind. I guess my Person Berry is now completely useless, but I'll trade that for getting the most annoying Gengar down. Golbat comes out next, and I do misclick using Shadow Ball, but it just hits a weaker air slash as Snorlax hits a Body Slam next turn for the KO. Then Arbok, and I never thought this goofy snake would be this annoying, or live as long as it did. So I wanted Snorlax out for the next Pokemon just to reduce the risk of getting slept or confused on the turn I switch in. But Arbok has Intimidate, so I switch out to Margaret, who also has Intimidate, then back to Snorlax, who gets hit by a Screech. So I switch back to Margaret, then back to Snorlax, who manages not to get poisoned, and then proceeds to not KO the snake. I guess Arbok is just really bulky and I never knew. I'm still not punished by being poisoned though, and that is a dead Arbok. Next out is the second Gengar. I tried to go for a rest because my health is a bit low, and the Gengar is nice enough to help me with that. Asshole. But now it should be using Nightmare, is what my walnut brain thought before realizing that Nightmare is Ghost. So yeah, we're just switching Ed and A into a really hard Sludge Bomb. So we switch back to Margaret, and finally Agatha gets a poison as we do some chip damage. Then we switch to Rockefeller, who actually walls this Gengar because he has a Chesto Berry. Very nicely. Oh, I knew it was coming. I've been too should have put a Petra Berry on. In spite of all of that though, Rockefeller eats a Shadow Ball, hits a Rock Slide and kills the Gengar. Finally is Haunter, but I just switched to Dr. Ball because given this thing's moveset, I'm pretty confident it's just going to go for a Curse and then Minook, which Dr. Ball doesn't care about because he's faster and can easily one-shot with Thunderbolt, especially with the help of the Curse damage. That's the third Elite Four member and everyone's still breathing. Final Elite Four member is Lance and his Dragons. This poses a problem because I don't know how many of you have eyes in the audience, but if you look at my team, we are sorely lacking in ice types and ice moves. My only one being Ice Beam on Nidoqueen, whose special attack is a bit meh. And on the flip side, Lance's Dragonite has Hyper Beam and Outrage, two pretty strong moves that could easily take someone out before we can revenge kill it. The Gyarados and Aerodactyl aren't an issue because while Dr. Ball is electric and Rockefeller walls the hell out of the Aerodactyl. Neither though are good Dragonite checks, but we just have to hope Nidoqueen can handle it. So we begin. As I said, the Gyarados is a speed bump, but next is the first Dragonair, and I decided to be a bit risky and set up a light screen with Dr. Ball, who only takes a small Dragon Rage thankfully. We then switch to Nidoqueen as Dragonair uses Safeguard for some reason, then Ice Beam puts Dragonair into the orange and retaliates with a Dragon Rage, which is perfect. Lance wastes one of his full restores, so the Dragonair goes down to a few more Ice Beams. Next out is Dragonair Part 2, and the end of light screen, so that was completely useless. As was Dragonair's Outrage, which does very little damage, meaning the king could claim another soul without much issue. But then the problem child comes out. But this is probably the best case scenario. Send out the big one! Send out the big one! You know, I want to see it! Show me the Dragonite! Yes! You dumbass! You've fallen right into my trap! And we're faster! All I'm asking is for a 2-hit. That is fine. Come on! Yep, that felt good. And after Aerodactyl comes out, I just decided to go for Surf, because it has nothing to one-shot at this health. Neither do we, to be fair, but we're a heck of a lot closer. One more Surf, and that's the Elite Four finished. The final fight is against our lovely rival Shlong, and for the first time ever, we get to use our full team. It's 6v6. let's see how it goes. Shlong as normal leads Pidgeot and I lead Dr. Ball MD, and once again, I play a bit riskier and set up a Light Screen as Pidgeot hits a very weak wing attack. Then one Thunderbolt to Kentucky Fries the Burb. Rhydon comes out next, but one Surf and it's gone. Then the scariest member of his team comes out, Alakazam. So I switch to Snorlax as Alakazam uses Future Sight, then uses Reflect, but even with the damage halved, Shadow Ball one hits Alakazam, thanks to the crit. Next is Gyarados, so I switch to Margaret for the mirror match, but well, the damage is limited because Gyarados move ball is ass. I had to use Strength and well, doesn't do much. So we switch into Dr. Ball, taking a Dragon Rage, and he one-shots with Thunderbolt. Second to last is Arcanine, and this is where I have my epiphany. This run has taught me something. Electrode may seem like a poorly and lazily designed Pokemon that no one loves, and no one would be mad you didn't love him, but I'm here to say, Electrode has come through on so many occasions. This run has taught me a lesson. Never judge something by how it's perceived by the community. You see this move here? I had put it on Dr. Ball just to hilariously sacrifice him and then not really care at all. He was a joke, but now I'm doing something different, something better. I'm clicking Explosion, but I'm clicking it so Dr. Ball MD can go down in a blaze of glory. A beautiful, beautiful end to his amazing... Oh, come on! Oh, you ruined that! Oh yeah, Intimidate, which cuts his attack. Well, I guess Rockefeller gets a free switch at least, and well, KOs with Earthquake. Last is Venusaur, and just so everyone had a chance to shine, I send out Ed, Ed, and Eddie, and though he doesn't one-shot, he actually takes a lot of damage from Solar Beam. It's all in vain, this fight is won. One more attack, and we slay Shlong and claim victory. Well, that was a really fun Nuzlocke, and aside from obviously changing the healing thing, I'm pretty happy with how it all turned out. There are definitely going to be a lot more of these on my channel, so make sure you subscribe and turn on the notification bell, because there'll probably be a new video every week, or at the very least every other week. But yeah, if you did like it, make sure to click that like button, it really helps, and also leave a comment, because that really helps as well. I'm hoping to hit 100 subs before the end of the year, so again, make sure to subscribe, and yeah, I'll see you all in the next video. Hope you all have a fantastic day, lads and ladies. I will see you later.